Get me the hat. Okay. And the bush. All right, and the stakes.
No, the stakes.
Give me the stakes.
Okay.
The wig. The sensible pantsuit and the statement. Pearls. You. The emails. The vodka. Anthony Weiner's laptop, too.
Jimmy, you're crazy. You cannot burn all of this.
I have to. It will set us free.
I cannot believe it's over.
It's over, Guillermo. And I'll tell you something. No one will ever build a wall between us.
Let's try, Jimmy.
Let's go do the show.
Let's go do the show.
From Hollywood, it's Jimmy Kimmel Live. Tonight, Robert De Niro, co-host of the AMAs, Gigi Hadid, and music from Willie Nelson. And now, for the most part, here's Jimmy Kimmel.
Weirdest dream last night. Remember that guy who used to host The Apprentice? I dreamed we elected him president. And you were there, and you were there, and you weren't there. Cleo, you weren't there either, and your father wasn't there either, but everyone... Wow, what the hell happened? The hats worked, those stupid hats. Those hats that looked like they were printed at a kiosk in the middle of a Westfield mall. Turns out they were magic, like Frosty the Snowman. Last night, Donald Trump reached out and grabbed America by the Virginia to somehow become president of the United States. Are any of you just now hearing about this? I don't want to spoil it. Should have said spoiler alert. I watched news coverage all night last night, and it was especially interesting to watch the change in tone as the night progressed. They started out upbeat, but as the evening went on and the results came in, every anchor looked like a child slowly realizing that no one was showing up to his birthday party. It was a big surprise. I think it was even a big surprise to Donald Trump. Did you see his victory speech? He didn't want this. He wanted to win, but he doesn't actually want to be president. This was not the plan for the remainder of his life. His plan was to go home to Mar-a-Lago, play 5,000 rounds of golf, phone into Trump TV every morning for 10 years, and then die on the toilet. That was his plan. There's no way he thought he was gonna... There's just no way even he thought he was gonna win this. He totally wrote that victory speech on his hand 30 seconds before walking out. And what, did you see his son, his little son, Barron, on stage? This poor kid. Now, there's his son. It's a very cute kid, but it looked like they told him he was going to have to move away from his friends 2 minutes before they pushed him out on stage. He is not excited about any of this. Trump won the Electoral College by a fairly wide margin, even though Hillary Clinton won the popular vote. Turns out it's not a popularity contest, folks. It was a stunning upset. I think in hindsight, I think the problem for Hillary was, and it's easy to say now, but I think she didn't have enough celebrity supporting her. That really was the... So many people said they'd move to Canada if Trump won. All over Hollywood today, movie and TV stars were Googling, is there gluten in poutine? And Hillary underperformed among women, African Americans, Hispanics, and young voters. Really, the only place she did very well was among pollsters. These polls, all these polls we read, ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox News, Washington Post, Bloomberg, Reuters, they all had Hillary Clinton ahead. They were all completely wrong. They should shut that 538 down. That website should be closed in disgrace like Abu Ghraib. Turns out these poll numbers that you're refreshing in your browser constantly are no different from those experiments where they make hamsters ring a bell for a dropper full of sugar water. They're meaningless. Nate Silver has been downgraded to Nate Bronze from now on. The only poll that got it right was the LA Times, but even that, predicting who's going to be president is like these people who tell you they know what sex your baby is going to be. These women are like, it's a girl, I'm telling you. But yeah, there were only two choices, so it's not exactly elite. Give me some lottery numbers, though, and we'll talk. But anyway, we thought we were having a girl, and we got a boy instead last night. And I, for one thing I do know is I'm never trusting these polls again. Not even flag polls. I won't. Somehow I feel like this is all Ken Bone's fault, right? I mean, actually, we do know where the scales tipped. And let's go now to our magic wall to show you how it happened. Now, come over here, and I'll explain the whole thing. Now, this is the United States of America. All right? So let's take a look at the state of California here. Okay, we'll zoom. Okay, and... Oh, where did it go? Okay. Now, let's zoom in on L.A. County. And, okay, there you go. Now, let's move in even closer to Hollywood. Now, you can see that's Hollywood. And let's zoom in even closer on Hollywood here if we can. Okay, now this is our theater. This is, everybody, wait. Yeah. So that's us. And let's zoom in even closer now here because now you see this guy? This is the guy who tipped the scales in favor of Donald Trump right there. It all came down to him. This election really divided people, even families. This is a good indication of that. CNN caught up with a couple in line to vote in Pennsylvania who, when it came to politics, seemed to have irreconcilable differences.
Why are you voting for Donald Trump?
Because he's the best there is right now. Come on, we need somebody strong. We need our country that can be our country again and not be owing all the other countries.
Aren't you excited for the first female president?
No!
I am.
Someone slept on the couch last night. I'm just not sure who. A lot of voters woke up this morning happy that Donald Trump won the election. But the other half of them, especially here in California, were very upset. People were shocked, despondent. Some were even crying. There's a lot of sorrow in the air today. And it's natural, you know, everyone goes through this sort of thing at some point, and we're not so different. So I thought it might be helpful to take you through what they call the 5 stages of grief. Now, stage 1 is, of course, denial, as in, no, the host of Celebrity Apprentice is not our president. He can't possibly be. CNN must have the map wrong. They must have missed a county or something. Wolf, Blitzer, please tell us you missed a county. But, of course, Wolf didn't miss a county. He's Wolf. He doesn't miss counties. And then when denial passes, we move to stage 2, which is anger. Who do I blame for this? Bernie supporters, the FBI, Gary Johnson, Jill Stein. How is it possible that half the country was too busy to even vote? They all managed to play Pokemon Go, but... And then you go on Facebook and you curse at the uncle you used to love when you were a kid, which when that's done, brings us to the next stage. Stage 3, bargaining. Maybe this needed to happen to wake everyone up. Maybe this is a good thing. Maybe he'll only build the wall waist high to keep short people out. You search for a ray of light, that kind of thing. But then, depression sets in. Stage 4. This is where you get a spoon and you just start eating peanut butter right out of the jar. You eat a whole box of Fruit Loops in bed and you just wallow in it until you reach stage 5, acceptance. No matter how you feel about it, Donald Trump is the president of the United States of America. So thank God we legalized marijuana yesterday. I'll tell you how to look at it. This was a fun moment from NBC's election night coverage. A live report from Democracy Plaza where freedom and chaos reigned.
I want to take you through the crowd here and show you some of the voters. We've got a lot of Clinton voters over here. We've got some Trump supporters behind us. And what we find is about 50% of this country, 60% of this country believe that this country will be divided when we wake up tomorrow. And so this is an area...
He voted for Booze Man down at the... Both Clinton and Trump were in New York for Election Day. Donald Trump went to the polls with his wife, Melania, where the news cameras were there and caught him on camera. A lot of people speculated that he was looking at her ballot. He wasn't looking at her ballot. He was looking down her shirt. Poor Melania. I've been thinking about her a lot today. She had it made. I mean, except for the part where Donald Trump climbed on top of her between 4 and 7 times a month. She had it made. Now she's got to move out of their multi-level penthouse apartment in New York. She has to host diplomats and spearhead initiatives. She has to hug poor people, which is gross. She can't go to Barney's or Saks or Bergdorf Goodman anymore. She'll probably have to cut back on nannies. This is a disaster for her. And poor Bill Clinton, he had big plans the moment that Air Force One left the tarmac. He was ready to celebrate, and but it's not to be. Not to be. One guy who is celebrating, though, is Russian President Vladimir Putin, who he has some kind of weird long-distance relationship with Donald Trump. He was quick to congratulate his new friend from Moscow today.
Хочу поздравить американский народ с завершением избирательного цикла.
This was so much easier than we thought it would be.
Господина Дональда Трампа с победой на этих выборах.
Congratulations to Mr. Spaghetti Hair on his hilarious victory.
Устойчивую траекторию развития.
I look forward with him to destroying the moon.
Well, that's He's such a good boyfriend. He really is. We have a strong post-election show for you tonight. The great Robert De Niro is here. On a personal note, my birthday is on Sunday, and Mr. De Niro is one of my favorite actors, was kind enough to take some time out of his busy schedule to record a special message for me, which, well, I'll share it with you. It's very sweet.
I mean, he's so blatantly stupid. He's a punk. He's a dog. He's a pig. He's a con, a bull artist, a mutt. He's an embarrassment to this country. It makes me so angry that this country has gotten to this point, that this fool, this bozo, has wound up where he has. I'd like to punch him in the face.
Well, thank you, Robert. Also tonight, supermodel Gigi Hadid and music from Willie Nelson. A lot happened last night. And there are a lot of questions to be answered, but none of them are bigger than a question that has been presented to me multiple times today, and that is, what does the result of this election mean for my historic solo bid for Vice President of the United States? And the answer is, it doesn't mean anything at all, because I'm still running. Hillary can give up. I don't give up. I don't concede. I run until I win. So I hereby announce that the committee to elect Kimmel Vice President in 2016 will herefore be known as Kimmel for Vice President 2020. When we come back, we have legalized marijuana in California for everyone, not just those with a fake doctor's note, and we close out this election Animal House style. So stick around. We'll be right back. From Willie Nelson is all on the way, but first I'll give you the update on our local politics. You know, in addition to the race for president, we had a number of measures and propositions on the ballot here in California, and yesterday we voted to legalize marijuana for recreational use. It used to be for medical use only, now it's for recreation. Just like Michelle Obama said, when they go low, we get high. And that's... Yesterday, California, Massachusetts, and Nevada voted to legalize pot, which is very good news, especially for Nevada. I mean, I'm glad they finally came up with a way to cut loose in Las Vegas. Now, normally this kind of thing would get a lot of attention, but Donald Trump's victory overshadowed that decision, even for the people here in California to whom it mattered most.
They ain't let this motherfucker win, cuz. I made it over the camera. This gonna win, cuz. They show you what they really give about.
Okay, do you understand that we just legalized marijuana in California and Snoop Dogg is so upset he wants to move? Okay, that's serious. Although he did tweet this. We just legalized marijuana in Cali, hashtag smoke weed every day. So finally, Snoop Dogg can smoke weed every day. Another unusual item on the ballot here was Prop 60, which, you know what this one was? This is the one where it would have required the use of condoms in pornographic films. That did not pass, which is significant because it would have been a huge blow to the adult film industry, and they have plenty of those already. But so porn actors will not have to wear condoms on. How weird would it be if that's the first thing Trump overturns? You put these on right now. Donald Trump may be the president-elect, but to me, the big winner last night was the young man you're about to see. This is from NBC Chicago's coverage of a local election there and a victory party that the whole family could enjoy.
He was ahead in Lake County, he was always ahead in Cook County, and he ended up pulling out this win, feeling very good about this. He talked about the win and the presidential election.
I hear you, buddy. A lot of people felt like that. Of course, the question now is, what's next? You know, Trump is expected to meet with President Obama tomorrow at the White House. Our first African-American president will be forced to pass the keys to a man who questioned his very citizenship, which will be very awkward. At the very least, I have to imagine Obama will let Bo, his dog, go to the bathroom a few times on the rug in the Oval Office. And then I guess Trump will get started building the wall and assembling his cabinet, and taking down all the paintings of the previous presidents, replacing them with portraits of himself playing golf. But the good news, no matter how you feel about the result of this election, the good news is that the election is over. It's done. And finally, we can look to the future. And what will the future hold for those we've gotten to know so well over the last 18 months, the characters from this election? Nobody knows for sure, but if I had to guess what will happen to them, that guess would look something like this.
Well, and it wasn't her fault.
You know you make me wanna
Stand up, Melania, come on. She took a lot of abuse.
The price of coal is down worldwide. people tell me is this: well, Bale can't get a job.
What do you think he took away from today?
My luggage. Hold on.
We're not doing the obligatory political, stand there with a gun who's off safety, finger on the trigger.
Here I am, a little new to the convention scene.
That means right in the world again.
Back in three major national polls, he leading Hillary Clinton now by a few points.
We have music tonight from Willie Nelson. Gigi Hadid is here. And we'll be right back with Robert De Niro, so stick around.
Of course, Jimmy Kimmel Live is brought to you by Tropicana Premium Drinks, a delicious cocktail mixer for your next party.
What did you tweet last night?
Oh, that I want Steve Harvey to announce the new president.
You can see her co-hosting the American Music Awards Monday, November 20th here on ABC. Supermodel Gigi Hadid is here with us. And then this is his latest album. It's called For the Good Times, a tribute to Ray Price, the great Willie Nelson from the... Is it a coincidence that Willie is here on the day after we legalize marijuana? Tomorrow night on the show, Matthew Broderick, Butch Walker, and T.I. will be with us. And we have a new show on Friday with Lin-Manuel Miranda, Ken Jeong, and 12-year-old Albert Tsai. And we'll hear music from Banks, too. So please watch then. Our first guest tonight has 2 Academy Awards, is a Kennedy Center honoree, and does the best impression of Robert De Niro of anybody, really. His new movie, The Comedian, opens to select theaters December 2nd. Please welcome Robert De Niro. Okay. I have to say, I'm so scared of you. It's almost ridiculous. I spent the whole day thinking about just how this conversation could go south, and I'll be just talking, and you'll be sitting there staring at me. How are you feeling today?
Huh? I'm not feeling good.
You're not, yeah.
No.
That's also worried me, yeah. Are you still going to punch Donald Trump in the face? Because you can now get arrested for that, I think, yeah.
I can't do that now.
Yeah, right.
But,
yeah.
And I have to respect that position, though we all know what he, anyway. I just we have to see what he's going to do and how he's really going to follow through on certain things. And as we even see now in a lot of cities, there's a lot of people are getting very upset and protesting.
But what's the point of that, really, the protesting? Because he is the president, and President Obama said today, we do have to, I'm sure President Obama's speaking from his own personal experience where he didn't get a whole lot of support. Sure. And he's saying, hey, we have to, we're all on the same team. Right. But occasionally teammates do punch each other in the face.
Maybe he will when it's
How many restaurants do you have?
I have a few around the world. Noble restaurants, the Conde Verde in New York,
right.
Rebecca Grill.
Is Donald Trump allowed to eat in those resturants?
That's a good question.
You as the owner, I think you could ban him. Are you a workaholic? Because I try to imagine, I know running a restaurant is a lot of work, and even, supervising a restaurant group. And you have how many hotels do you have?
A few that we're starting more and more.
Yeah, you have a number of hotels you're building.
We're more eventually, but
right. And is it something that you're heavily involved in? Like, do you spend a lot of your day working on that?
I'm involved. I am very much involved in them because I just am. I mean, I'm not there in all the detailed stuff, day-to-day nuts and bolts, of course.
Will you pick the towels, for instance?
Maybe in a certain situation.
You would?
In certain places.
Would you insist on a certain thread count for your sheets?
I won't go that far.
You wouldn't go that far, okay. But if you were, you have, like, do you ever, like, find things in another hotel and go, we've got to get these for ours?
Possibly.
Yeah, okay. I see. And as far as the menu goes at your restaurants, are you, like, if you say, like, you know, I really love a good linguine and clams, and I know this is a Japanese restaurant.
Well, I have to run that by Nobu.
You have not run that by Nobu? Do you think he would react well to that?
He'd be nice and say, yeah, sure. I think.
You're also, on top of this, co-directing a musical on Broadway, which is very interesting. This is Chaz Palminteri's Bronx Tale.
Yes, yes.
Which is a great movie, and he did it at the stage show.
I'm co-directing it with Jerry Zaks, who's a wonderful director, Broadway director, musical comedies, and so he's really doing the heavy lifting, but I'm
Have you worked on Broadway before?
Coincidentally, I did a play called Cuba and His Teddy Bear at least 25 years ago in the same theater that we're doing Bronx Tale, the Longacre, just a coincidence.
Now, I'd ask you if you love Broadway and you love that acting on stage, but I assume, considering the fact that you've not done it for 25 years, that that's not your thing.
I like doing movies.
You like the movies better?
Yes.
Yeah. And do you remember the first time you were recognized as an actor? Like somebody came up to you and said, hey, I know you from something.
You know, actually, the one time I was doing, I was driving a cab around for Taxi Driver a week or two before we started, and a guy asked me in the city, in 2nd Avenue, and I looked at him to the mirror, and he looked back, and I could see that for a split second he said, "Is that?" Well, I think it might be, but he didn't say anything, and I drove him up wherever I did.
That's some story. You should have done it a little bit. Maybe to update it, you could call it Uber driver or something, you know. I was interested and surprised to learn, because I was reading about you, that you're 1/4 Italian, correct? Yeah. And, which shocked me, because to me, you're like one of the most Italian-Americans, and I realized I am more Italian than you are.
Yeah, and I didn't know you were part Italian.
Ah, see? That's where we get you. Yeah.
Where are you from?
Well, I'm from Brooklyn originally.
Oh,
but,
you are? Okay.
Yeah, but my parents are from Ischia, which is an island.
Yeah.
And, you know, not my parents, my grandparents, actually. Yeah. Where's your family from
A
then?
place called Ferrazzano, which is near Campobasso, which is Abruzzi, Molise.
Of course. You're an Italian citizen as well. You
Yes,
got citizenship? Did you ask for that?
I'm gonna probably have to move there.
Oh, you might have to move. The comedian. We'll be right back.
I know you, right? You're Jackie Burke?
I am.
My dad used to love your TV show. We've watched every episode.
Always nice to meet a fan.
Yeah. Well, we just said the one TV.
What's your name?
Harmony Schultz.
How many shows? Were your parents in a Nazi barbershop quartet? It's always nice to see women laugh. Because, you know, once you can make a woman laugh, then you can make her do anything, they always say. I don't know if that's true.
Is that what they say?
It's an old saying.
Like a very, very old saying.
Ooh.
That's Robert De Niro, the comedian. You don't design to stand in a second. You play in this movie a veteran comedian who, like, you know, some comedians we could think of got a family sitcom and was known as this wholesome character, but really he was a kind of a hardcore, dirty, rough comedian, and then he tries to make a comeback at an older age.
Right.
Again, please don't hit me. Was that fun for you to play a comedian?
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, I had an art lesson, and I've been working on it for 7 or 8 years. I just thought it'd be fun to play a comedian, and the script went through a lot of iterations, different directors, and finally we started with Taylor Hackford, and it became what it became. So it was fun to do. And,
right. Yeah. And do you go to comedy clubs? Is this something that...
No, I don't. I love comedians.
You do?
And some of I have very good, dear comedian friends, and they're great. And it's not so easy to do stand-up. It's not easy. What I worked on was hard, and I had Jessica Kirson helping me, and Louis Friedman,
Jeff Ross as well?
Jeff Ross,
Yep.
yeah. And, but more of those two guys, Jessica and
Less
Louis.
Jeff Ross, not as much.
Yeah, sorry, Jeff. Sorry, Jeff.
Okay. Because Jeff told me he helped you a lot.
Yeah, I know. No.
Yeah,
He helped us a little
bit. Now I'm going to have to call Jeff, and now this is going to be an issue.
No, he gave us the name of Harmony.
Who are some of your favorite comedians? Just like growing up or whatever?
Richard Belzer, Jeff Ross, Billy Crystal, Bill Murray.
Yeah.
God, and they go on and on. Who else?
I'm trying to imagine you at a comedy club, and I'm not really having... I imagine, when I think of you laughing, I think of that scene in Cape Fear where you're in the movie theater laughing like a maniac, and people get up and leave. They're so alarmed by it.
Yeah.
See? Your friend... Well, I assume you're friends, and now I don't know what to believe after this Jeff thing. Don Rickles talks about working with you.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
he somebody from... you drew from in this situation?
Well, Don, yeah. I mean, Jackie Leonard, Don Rickles. Don is great.
Not so much Jeff, though.
No, not Jeff. Jeff who?
Jeff Ross?
Oh, Jeff Ross.
You know, our friend Guillermo here interviewed you a little while back at a... do you remember that interview? I thought we might relive that because I think, you know, I don't know if you know this, but we won a Peabody for this.
Oh,
Were you aware of that?
No.
Yeah, well, it's true. Let's take a look here.
Thank you for sitting down with me.
Nada.
I have a clip of your movie, Killer I Like. Do you want to set it up?
Set it up?
Yes.
No, you set it up. You're doing a great job.
Okay.
You're mispronouncing the name, of course, but, you know.
It's not that one right there?
Yeah.
Killer I Like?
No, but that's an E. Shouldn't it be
Killer I Like.
Either way, okay.
See, this is why you watch to build the wall, you know? That's what Guillermo dresses when he's getting ready to move to Canada. Well, thank you for being here. It is really an honor to have you here. Great pleasure. The Comedian is the movie. It opens December 2nd in select theaters. Robert De Niro, everybody. And Brad Gaffney, Gigi Hadid. Vogue magazine called our next guest the ultimate it girl. You know, they called me once that too, many years back. On November 20th, she co-hosts the American Music Awards on ABC. Please welcome Gigi Hadid. How old are you, may I ask?
I'm 21.
21. So did you vote yesterday? Was that the first time voting?
It was my second time being able to vote, but I went to a polling place for the first time.
Wait a minute. If you're 21, how is it your second time being able to vote?
Because I just turned 18 that year.
You committed a felony last year. Oh, no, it's not on the date. I see. Oh, I didn't know that.
I voted. I just didn't go to a polling place.
I see. Okay, but you were 18. You were legally allowed to vote.
Yeah.
Okay, because we could have you arrested if, you know, the...
Please don't get me arrested.
Okay, we won't have you arrested. I was mentioning that you were, you're the it girl, right? It's not the IT girl. Like, you don't pick computers at the office.
It's a social media kind of thing, I think. IT girl was the point.
I see.
Yeah.
I was looking through this. You're on the cover of this magazine. You're on the back cover of this magazine. You are on the inside cover of this magazine. Your foot's on one page.
That has to be like a marketing plan thing.
Do you think so?
I mean,
well, I mean, you would know better than I would.
I don't know.
Yeah, or maybe it's just, maybe they've run out of models. I don't know. When you are like, for instance, when you're doing this, like, what are you thinking?
Okay, so like, what people we don't know like what we're walking into, you know, when we get to set. It's just like, okay, so here's the concept today. It's either going to be like a white wall background or you're running track with a tiger. Like, they
don't give you any heads up at all.
No, so, you know, this day I was kicking all day, and it's not normal kicking. It's like something that kickboxing coaches would probably be really ashamed of, because they have you kicking like with your foot in the right way so the shoe looks good, and then you have to go to the chiropractor later that week. It's really... It's
photographer kicking.
Yeah.
You are hosting co-hosting the American Music Awards with Jay Farrow, right?
I'm very excited,
So tell me about this, because, I mean, are you going to do jokes? Are you going to come out and do a monologue? What's the plan?
We had our first meeting today, and it was, yeah, I mean, we have a monologue. Like, I'm just hoping I'm going to be funny, but, like, that's kind of Jay's thing. I'm just really taking his direction.
I see. So you're going to let... But you will be delivering jokes. You have people, because I do have
I'm planning on it, yeah.
I have a friend named Jeff Ross. He's written for Robert De Niro, although there is some debate about that. But, you know, I hosted the American Music Awards four times.
They're huge fans of yours. Today, I was telling them that I was going to be here later, and they're very excited.
The awards themselves are fans of mine? Or
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I was talking the small trophy, and it was saying...
We did have
really
a good
nice.
experience, but I'll tell you something. I hosted it 4 years in a row, and then after that, they had no host for like 5 years, which is either a great compliment or a terrible
Or they just
insult.
never wanted to host again.
Yeah,
They're
they're
like,
like-
we're really into the new robot thing. We're going to have like a... did you hear about the K-pop stars that are now performing in their holograms?
No.
People are buying out like stadium tours to go see a hologram.
Of K-pop stars?
Yeah, and they're now going to replace you. It's going to be a hologram tonight.
I'm being replaced by K-pop stars?
Yeah.
Hold on. What's K-pop? Let's start with that.
K-pop is Korean
I
pop.
know.
Yeah.
I know what it is. I'm
You
just
know.
pretending. See, that's one of the things that I do. I'm not actually even here. I'm a hologram.
I know. Now I'm like scared. Why should I just stop?
Your boyfriend is Zayn Malik from One Direction, who I hear a lot about. Were you like a One Direction? Because you're young enough that you might have been a crazed One Direction fan. Were you one of those 1D people?
I grew up in a household that my stepdad was a kind of classical music producer.
I know your stepdad, yeah.
Andrea Bocelli, Josh Groban. So that was the music that I was into. I mean, I think we all can name a One Direction song that we like,
But no.
maybe not.
You were not.
But I love Zayn Malik solo a lot more, I think.
And your mom was on The Real Housewives. Which Real Housewives show was she on?
She was on Beverly Hills.
I got a report on because I
My
don't
mom's
watch.
here.
Oh, she is.
I don't know where she is.
Oh, she's not one of those Real Housewives that's going to throw a martini
She's
glass
gonna be
at me.
so mad at me that I just said that, by the way, that they turned the lights on.
Oh,
Sorry.
because she doesn't.
Yeah,
Oh,
she
wait,
doesn't-
there's your mom in the headband right there in the flannel shirt. Is that?
You look great.
Is that your mother? Wow. She's very young. Very beautiful.
She does look great in flannel now.
Well, I tell you what, you know, I was skeptical about a supermodel hosting a show that
Me
I
too.
once
I'm
hosted.
still skeptical.
But I
I'm
feel
still-
now, I feel like you're going to do a good job. I feel like you have the right attitude and personality, and your mother was a Real Housewife, and your father's producing music, so, you know, who the hell knows how this is going to go, but I think it's going to go well. It's the American Music Awards. It is November 20th right here on ABC. Gigi Hadid, everybody. We're going to have back with Willie Nelson.
Jimmy Kimmel Live Concert Series is brought to you by new Crown Royal Vanilla Whiskey. Vanilla, so good. The Jimmy Kimmel Live Concert Series is brought to you by new Crown Royal Vanilla Whiskey. Vanilla, so good.
I want to thank Robert De Niro, Gigi Hadid. Apologies of Matt Damon. We did run out of time for him. He will be rescheduled. Nightline is next. But first, his album is called For the Good Times, a tribute to Ray Price. Here with the song Heartaches by the Number, Willie Nelson.
Heartache number one was when you left me. I never knew that I could hurt this way. Heartache number two was when you came back again. You came back but never meant to stay. Now I've got heartaches by the number, troubles by the score. Every day you love me less, each day I love you more. Now I've got heartaches by the number, love that I can't win. But the day that I stop counting, that's the day my world will end. Heartache number three was when you called me and said that you were coming back to stay. With hopeful heart I waited for your knock.
have lost your way. Now I've got earnest by the number, trouble by the score. Every day you love me less, each day I love you more.